Hey everybody, how's it going? Dieter Kurtenbach here in the East Bay. Warriors just beat the Memphis Grizzlies 118-103. 15-point win for the Warriors, starting off a road trip, always a good thing. Not as easy as the scoreline suggests, though. Memphis gave the Warriors a good run in this one, or more specifically, the Warriors gave themselves a pretty good run in this one. That's our first point of three things tonight. The only team that can beat the Golden State Warriors are themselves, and we've known that all year, but it was proven again on Wednesday night in Memphis. The Warriors didn't lose, but they sure did give Memphis every opportunity to beat them in this contest. Jonas Valanciunas really having a monster game. Mike Conley, always professional, always brings us A game. And a bunch of guys that frankly are getting a good opportunity to make a career or get their careers back on track, playing free, playing loose, and making something happen against the best team in the NBA. Memphis put in a pretty solid performance, all things considered. But again, the Warriors giving Memphis a chance to stay in that game, to get their crowd into it. 14 turnovers in the contest for the Warriors. That's not an outlandish number by Warriors standards, but not a good number. And the turnovers that they had in the first half in particular were really concerning. A lot of cross-court passes going directly to a Grizzlies player, a lot of sloppiness with the ball. The Warriors looked like a team that hadn't played in a couple of days and had a night off in Memphis the night before. Just a little bit sluggish, a little bit sloppy. The ideas were there, the vision was there, the execution simply was not, and it was a lot of live ball turnovers, which gave Memphis an opportunity to get up and down. And Memphis has been playing good basketball, particularly in the half court. They were able to combine the two. They even had a 10-point lead in this contest at one point, but the Warriors locking it down, getting out ahead in the second half, fewer turnovers, better execution, and ultimately their talent was too much for Memphis. Second thing in this one, and it's amazing that this wasn't the first thing, but I thought the first point was such that it needed to be stated before anything else. It is an overarching thought with this team, but the second point, Kevin Durant had one of the best basketball games you will ever see out of a player, and I do not say that lightly. Kevin Durant was absolutely spectacular in this contest. 28 points, what we had, 28, 9, 5, and 2. Checking my notes here, sorry. 28, 9, 5, and 2, plus 30 in the game, but here's the stat that really stands out. 12 of 13 from the floor for Kevin Durant. Hyper efficient all night long, just exceptional. And he mentioned after the game in the post-game interview with NBC Sports Bay Area, played a little bit more point guard in the fourth quarter, orchestrating the offense. You could see him really getting the Warriors into good sets late in the game when execution mattered more often than not. We've seen a lot of Kevin Durant playmaker over the last few games. I think this is a trend that's going to stick around. I was a little bit on the fence with that, right? The rotations weren't there, especially over the weekend. Durant tried to be a scorer, then he went back to facilitator, and the rotations not being kind of locked in, it was difficult to really read if that was just Durant trying to fit the mold of what was needed that night, or if this was something else where he didn't want to mess with mojo, particularly after the Warriors had that great road trip. In the first two games, he wasn't there, wanted to fit in, and it would kind of come back around come playoff time. I do think that Kevin Durant, facilitator, Kevin Durant as the epicenter of this offense is going to be something that sticks around. If for no other reason, then you can't possibly go away from it in the next couple of games after a performance like that. Durant was just incredible, just absolutely incredible against the Memphis Grizzlies, and I expect him to continue this. He looks absolutely locked in. If the playoffs could start tomorrow, Kevin Durant might lead the Warriors to a 16-0 run in that postseason because he is truly at the top of his game at the right time. Final point, and this is something that I've noticed on Twitter, so take that with a grain of salt. Nothing good has really ever come from Twitter, but Stephen Curry, not the best game, at least by Stephen Curry standards. 7 of 20 from the floor. It just looked a little bit out of sync, and that is something to be expected when you consider that Kevin Durant is somewhat being the epicenter of the team when he's on the court, and the Warriors are not staggering Durant and Curry in a very significant way. Curry hasn't had the greatest run of games, again, by Stephen Curry standards over the last few, but if this isn't Stephen Curry's best, that really says something incredible about Stephen Curry because he had 28 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 blocks against Memphis. If that's a bad game, who knows what a good game? I guess we do. 40 points, 15 assists, 10 rebounds. The 10 rebounds, really interesting for Stephen Curry. He's really been making a concerted effort to get on the glass. That's something that is just effort-based more often than not, and he's trying to will his team to a victory. If the shot isn't falling, he's doing other things to help the Golden State Warriors. That's a sign of a true leader. That's the stuff that Durant does. That's the stuff that Klay Thompson does. That's the stuff that Draymond Green has made a living on, but it's always good to see it, especially when the guy just doesn't feel like he's in a rhythm right now. I would not bet against Stephen Curry in any way, shape, or form, but it is interesting that when he's not playing his best, he's probably putting on a better performance than all but a few players in the NBA could give you on a nightly basis when they're playing their best. Warriors head to Minneapolis. They have a game against the Timberwolves again. We just saw this team, but here we go. Another Karl Anthony Towns game for the Golden State Warriors. They'll play on Friday. We will not talk after then. I'm going away for a while, but we will talk soon. Thanks for watching.